All right, so let's talk about a stock that when it decides to run, it is going to run big time in a very short period of time. So I'll tell you why I think that is going to happen to this stock, why it can also be bad for a stock as well, guys, because that is an important subject to say the least that you must understand. Okay, it's critical to you guys out there as investors, and it doesn't get talked about a whole lot. So we'll talk about it today. So a ton to get into. But make sure you like the video if you like getting the truth off the hype. That is exactly what you're going to get today, guys. And that right there is the exact discussion we're going to have today. So the stock that we are discussing today is SoFi. Okay. Now we'll discuss why I think SoFi will make a big move here in just a moment. But even if you don't own SoFi, okay, I got it. Don't click off the video because having a big run very quickly in a stock is bad applies to any company you are looking at. All right. Of course, now, there are exceptions, but there are times you get those meta type of situations in 2022 or Nvidia during that same exact time frame where they were so ridiculously undervalued, it was just silly and stupid. And then on top of that, you had unbelievable earnings for years afterwards into the future. Okay, that right there was the situation we had with those. That's not normally what happens. And 99% of the hype situations out there, 99% of the big runs that happen in a stock, that's not normally the situation to where it's just they're not big runs that are hype runs. They're big runs that are sustainable because of those incredible earnings and because they were so undervalued. All right. So putting that aside, the truth is a massive move can be bad for your stocks. And it was for SoFi just simply last year, for example. So let's talk about the reasons why having a massive move can be bad. And of course, we'll talk about SoFi in regards to this as well. And then we'll definitely jump into why I think another big move is coming here shortly. So the first reason is it's usually based on hype, not fundamentals. All right. Now, we all know what hype gets you in the end, right? It's essentially nothing. If you didn't know, hype run-ups get you nothing in the end once it's all over. And for just an example here, look at Tesla in 2021. Even last year, we all know what happened to Tesla 2021. You're still down, right? All these years later, almost 5 years later, you were still down whenever it peaked out there in 2021. Even last year, many of the high flyers that were all hype and no fundamentals have completely cratered, but they were the future. They're coming. Can't put a value on it. All this other ridiculous hype that was out there around these. And just in short order, they went up in a few months and they came right back down just as harshly right after that. And unfortunately, it's sad, but social media likes to hype stocks to the moon, right? It's how you grow a following. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not criticizing anybody, and I'm not going to put any names out there or anything else of that nature because we all do it to some degree or another, okay? But it's how you grow a following. You don't grow a massive following by telling the truth about stocks and not dabbling in that or not fully going in on that sort of stuff. All right. And let's use SoFi as the example last year. All right. Last year, tons of hype when SoFi was at all time highs, approaching $30. Tons of folks. Tons of folks. My feed was done. My group was blowing up with people sending me videos. Everybody's saying, well, is 50 really possible? What about $75? I mean, SoFi's just getting started and all that sort of stuff. And at $32, I said it was overvalued. And I said it was overvalued not only in my group, we talked through why and all the fundamentals. I even said it right here on YouTube. And those videos back during that time frame were some of my largest dislike to like ratios in regards to, that weren't more dislikes, but in regards to your ratings, it kind of gives you a percentage of like to dislike. It was one of my lowest percentages, still over 90% like, but it's one of my lowest percentages. Now, I also know if I would have made a video saying why it was going to $50 or why it could go to 75 or whatever the case was, it would have been one of my most liked videos on social media. That's just how social media works. Again, I'm not knocking it, not saying anything, but that right there is the truth about what's going on. Now, in my bull and bear case video for my group, and in every one of my over 100 plus buys, I may even be over 200 buys of SoFi now, with an average under $10, by the way. And even in my price targets for SoFi, there is absolutely no hype, no crazy spreadsheets, no assumptions of any sort, just strictly fundamental analysis based upon a reasonable valuation. Matter of fact, probably a pretty conservative valuation for the stock. That's it. That is how I have an average under $10 per share while still buying loads of shares every single year. Really, I guess now almost 4 years. We may be into 4 years now of buying shares of SoFi every single year. And matter of fact, even look at last year. I bought it at under $10 again, huge batches of shares instead of at 32 like a lot of other folks did, chasing that hype. And just so you guys know, the 4th of July flash sale ends today for my group, where you'll see all those buys and all my future buys in real time. Get my bull and bear case on SoFi and a bunch of other stocks, and my price targets for SoFi and a lot of other stocks as well, and so much more. We'll talk more about it at the end, but it's the pinned comment down there for those interested. And again, it ends today. The reason number two why a big run typically is bad is because it means years of dead money, and not the good kind of dead money. All right, I know that didn't make a lot of sense here, so let me make sense of the difference between good dead money and bad dead money. When a stock is undervalued for years, and the fundamentals are going great in the meantime, right? Revenue increasing, profits increasing, continue to make margins better, everything else, that is good dead money, okay? That right there means I have years to build out a big position. You can't build out a good position in half a year, right? It's hard. 6 months, you only got so much money you can put in that stock at 6 months. But if you get 3 years to put money into that stock before it has a big run, wow, not only do you have a stock where you have a lot more shares than you would have had otherwise, right? You'd much rather have 100,000 shares of SoFi at $10 per share than you would, obviously, 1,000 shares of SoFi at $10 per share, right? Obviously, the longer it goes, the more money you can put into it. But when a stock gets overvalued, that's bad dead money, because you can't add to the stock because it's so overvalued. Therefore, you can't increase your share count for that next run. So I'm going to use Palantir here as an example. I know it's not a Palantir video, but it's the best one to use. For Palantir, you had almost 3 years where it was good dead money. Trust me, during that time frame, there were a lot of comments calling it dead money, right? But once it has this massive 2,000% run, well, what do you think people were saying? Oh man, I wish I would have bought more. I wish I would have bought more. Well, you had 3 years to buy more. That's good dead money. Fundamentals getting better and better and better and better. Earnings after earnings after earnings, and Wall Street still continues to beat that thing down. That's exactly what you want. Now, after its massive run, it's bad dead money, right? When it got up over $200 per share, that was bad dead money. That's one stock. It's basically a 4.5 year journey there. I guess we're on 5 years now with Palantir, where, hey, we got an extended 3 year period of time to load this up where it was quote unquote dead money. And then when it made 2,000% run, there's no way you would have timed it perfectly to where I bought all my shares right before it did. And more importantly, most of us don't have the cash to just load up right before and then ride the rocket ship up and then sell out at the top and then come back in at all those silly stuff like that. So that right there is kind of the difference between good dead money and bad dead money. It's false to think stock price going up means the company is good. A huge mistake is thinking stock price going up parabolic means the company must be good and I got to buy and all other sort of stuff like that. In a lot of cases, fundamentals show declining in some cases, but the stock moves up and people are just like, it's got to be great. Look at the movement. Look at how much it's up this year. When that's your first reason to buy a stock is because it's up so much in a year, that's a problem. That generally means that it's not going well. You've got to have those fundamentals improving and the valuation, more importantly, staying cheap for whatever reason, whether because the fundamentals are outrunning the stock price run, whatever the case is. Another thing that we commonly fall for is just we believe Wall Street knows more, right? It's going up. Wall Street's got to know more than these guys over here that are buying, Palantir at $6. Why would you buy that? These stocks over here are running. Why don't I jump on that instead? Same exact thing with Google last year. Why everybody buying all the, stocks that were at all-time highs there because they're the future, they're whatever, whatever the case is. Instead of loading up on Google, that was super, super cheap because you were believing the Wall Street narrative, believing Wall Street knows more when they don't. They're trading. They're playing a whole different game than we are. They're not trying to buy and hold. They're not looking for the next 10x stock. Now, they may talk that way, but they're selling well before it ever hits a 10x because every time they take profits, that's how they get a bigger bonus. That's it. That's the game. They don't care about fundamentals. They don't care about anything else. It's just another narrative driven type thing. That's why I tell you guys to ignore the noise all the way around. All right. So let's talk about why do I believe SoFi will run big and how to avoid a disaster with that. All right. So really there's three core reasons why I believe SoFi is going to run big. And then we'll talk about how to avoid that disaster as well. So the first reason is because it's a high growth name. And that's just the way high growth names work early on in their journey. They have huge hype runs and huge crater downs. Even whenever it was at its lows, it would still run up to 8, 10, $12, which is basically a double up plus if you were buying it in the fours like we were, and then it would crater right back down to four again. And you just, keep right on going with the buys right there at that stage, right? It has these type runs. Now, of course, reason number two why I believe SoFi will run big is the fundamentals are improving every quarter, which is true. Look at them. Look at the charts. Everything up and to the right. The fundamentals are improving outside of some seasonality and some other things of that nature. but you can see the fundamentals are clearly improving, meaning whenever it does go on a run, there's fundamentals to support it, which draws in a different type of investing pool than just simply the hype birds that hype it up and down. Now they'll jump on it too because it's a high growth name, our first reason. But the second reason is you'll start bringing in folks that are looking for value, looking for a stock that's moving in the right direction, and they'll start coming in as well. Therefore, that all those folks are also less likely to sell, creating less of a bigger downtrend whenever the hype finally subsides and basically things go back to the fundamentals again. That's exactly how this works. If you continue to push your fundamentals up, it continues to push the valuation up, meaning that even if the peak is way, way up here, the crater down will not be as low as it was before. And the third reason, this stock sadly gets hype runs, which, as you guys I'm sure understand, that means that a big move is coming once again. It is just plain as day, especially whenever it gets undervalued like this. Now, if it's sitting at 32, I wouldn't be saying that. But giving me SoFi here under 20, yeah, definitely seeing a big run coming once again in SoFi. Now, let me be abundantly clear about this next point, and I'll tell you how to avoid it, okay? Anyone saying they know when it's going to run, when the next run is happening, has probably made 72 guesses prior to that were all wrong, and they finally got it right on the 73rd guess, okay? Nobody knows. Nobody can time the market. It is absolutely useless. So asking me, hey, Luke, when do you think it's going to run? I don't freaking care. It could be now. It could be 2 weeks from now. It could be 2 months from now. It could be 2 years from now. I don't freaking care. Matter of fact, 2 years is even better because then I get more time to add more shares, more time to increase my share count. And of course, whenever it does have its next big move up, there will be more fundamental progress underneath to support a higher stock price and less of a crater down whenever it comes, or to keep the run going further, as it continues to run and push it up, kind of like we saw with NVIDIA from 2022 on. I mean, just like every quarter, that stock feels like it should be trading at a 300 PE, but it's not. It's trading right around, I think, 30. I should have looked before I pulled up the video here. Anyways, point being, well down into, not crazy overvalued territory at all. But anyone saying they know is simply guessing, and it's useless to try and time the market. So don't even bother with that thought process. If that's your first thought, you're trying to time the market, move on, think about something else. All right. Now, let's talk about the keys to thriving and being stuck, not holding bags. Okay. And the key to thriving in all this, and not be holding bags. And I love that whenever I see that comment in the comment section on my videos. Oh, you own SoFi, ha ha ha, you're holding bags. I'm like, yeah, I'm holding bags of a bunch of shares under 10 bucks. Like, I don't know what you're talking about there. The key to getting around that, not being stuck holding bags, is valuation. That's it. It's as simple as that. Simply knowing and doing that valuation, having that plan, sticking to those fundamentals, not buying into that hype, all the things we talk about right here, and simply using valuation. Therefore, you can wait and be patient. And whenever the stock falls, that's when you pounce. Whenever the stock, and everybody's saying don't buy it because it's dead money and there's better opportunities and all this other stuff like that, great. And then whenever it runs, for whatever reason, it's at 32 and everybody thinks it's a great opportunity. It isn't at that stage because of that valuation. That's how you avoid all that. And if you want to learn exactly how to do that, work directly with me on how to do that through free courses, free coaching. See my watch list with price targets, bull and bull case for SoFi. Anyways, all that stuff, the 4th of July sale ends today. I also have a massive, massive announcement coming out there. I just released to my group right there. I'm going to work through all of my group members first. And then those of you guys that sign up for an annual membership will get worked in as well on the back end there. Check it all out. It's the pinned comment. See if your membership's right for you before that price goes up. And I honestly have to raise the price because of the new things that are coming into the group there. They're just expensive, but they're going to be for group members only. So check it out. It's the pinned comment. Take advantage of the sale before the sale ends and the price goes up. And click this video here if you want to see exactly what I'm buying in this market. And click here to see my exact plan for this market. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.